What's up YouTube? I'm Mike and today I am reshooting a video that I attempted to shoot last night. I have been sleeping all day every day, and so I don't have a whole lot of time to make content in the evenings because it's the limited time that I can spend with my family. So my wife went to bed early last night and I tried to sit up and shoot this video, but I had already taken my sleeping pills and I was totally trashed during the shooting of the video. So I may actually clip some of those pieces into this video just for comic relief because this is not exactly the most riveting video that I've ever produced. What we're talking about today, as you've probably seen from the title, is are you as strong as Jay Cutler, four-time Mr. Olympia? I have caught, I've taken a lot of abuse in the comments section on some of my training videos about the fact that apparently some of you in the audience feel that 210 pounds, that 60, 70 pound dumbbells is not sufficient for a man of my size, that I should be lifting a lot more weight than that. Of course, I'm smart enough to know that all of the people making these claims couldn't get the fucking 30-pound dumbbells even off the fucking rack without pulling a fucking muscle. But it did, of course, make me wonder, like, what would be considered good strength for my size? Or, like, how much does somebody like a professional bodybuilder actually lift? Because, again, when we're talking about bodybuilding, we're never talking about strength. That's not the objective. Being the strongest guy in the gym has never been important to me because it is not the optimal way of growing the biggest possible muscles that you can get. Hypertrophy is not based on strength. It's just that strength training is a totally different animal. So what we're going to go through today is an article that will be linked in the comments, in the description, titled IFBB Pro Jay Cutler's Best Lifts for All Body Parts. I thought this would be interesting to share so that we can all sort of get a feel for where we're at relative to, again, a four-time Mr. Olympia winner. The reason that I like to choose Jay Cutler, again, obviously he was one of my idols growing up, but because he had a mentality that was very different than a lot of other bodybuilders. You've got Ronnie Coleman, who prided himself on how freakishly strong he was, and he spends the majority of his time in a fucking wheelchair now. It's taken incredible amounts of scientific progress and money and surgeries and stuff to even keep this guy ambulatory. Meanwhile, Jay, I think, was on stage a couple of months ago. So you've got one guy who can barely fucking walk, and you've got another guy who could easily go win a Masters competition in no time at all. Jay's in phenomenal condition, in phenomenal shape. And so guys like Jay and Arnold and those who have stood the test of time really go a long way to proving that lifting more conservative weights for higher reps is the key to longevity. So, without further ado, I'm going to give you Jay Cutler's lifts, and then to the best of my ability, I'm going to let you know where I stand next to him, and then you can compare where you stand next to both of us. So, I would also like to announce that last night was a very exciting night for me. I hit a new personal best height. Yes, I succeeded in becoming 6'4" last night. A new personal best weight. I tipped the scale at 213.2 pounds with 6 visible abs. That is the biggest I have ever been in life by 0.2 pounds. Now, I know that 0.2 pounds is not a whole lot to brag about, but I feel like I'm in substantially leaner shape, leaner condition with a substantially less amount of body water on my frame than the last time I was at 213. If you recall, the last time I hit 213, I had let my estrogen get out of control. And the second I dialed my E2 back in, I dropped 7 pounds over the course of like 2 days. So my E2 is dialed in and I've pushed my body weight in the evening back up to 213.2 pounds. So I am fucking super excited about that. I'm sitting at 209 in the morning, and I'm really starting to believe that 220 might be on the horizon. So here we go. Jay Cutler's, and like I said, at any point in this video, I may just, later on, I may just clip in some bloopers from the video I shot last night because I was totally trashed on my sleeping pills and I had no business even sitting up, honestly, much less making a video. So Jay Cutler, and keep in mind one more thing, this is Jay Cutler in his youth. I'm 43 years old, so we're not comparing apples to apples here at all. I'm 43 years old, and Jay was outweighing me by anywhere from 75 to 100 pounds of lean body weight when he was achieving these lifts. So my strength should be nowhere near his. Again, to put that into whatever. Perspective, thank you, dear. So, Jay said, and I'm not going to read all of the details that he said in this article. You can read them. I'm basically just going to give you his numbers and his reps. So he explains when he was 19 or 20 training at Gold's Gym, having a big bench press was a really big deal, and that the max he ever achieved was 550 pounds for 2 reps on flat bench. He goes on to say that he after that basically swore off flat bench. He does not do free weight flat bench at all. So his max on free weight flat bench is 550. My max on free weight flat bench is somewhere around 270. I say somewhere around because I don't flat bench either. I only ever bench press on Smith machine, so we'll get to that in a second. His incline barbell press was 405 for 6 to 8 reps. To put that into perspective, my max on incline press, 20 years older and 100 pounds lighter, is currently 275 pounds for 6 reps. I'm hoping to get that up. I'm working on trying to catch my incline up with my flat bench, but I am not there yet. So 275 would be max for incline press. And that is on Smith machine, for clarification. Dumbbell presses, Jay was able to press 200s for 2 reps. He said he pressed 160s to 180s all the time back in the late 90s. So he was born in 79, I believe. He was born in 73, so whatever age he was in the 90s, certainly not 43. I can't do the math, but he was a younger man then. So he got the 200s for 2 reps. The max I have ever done on dumbbell flat bench press is I got the 110s for somewhere between 4 and 6 reps. And so since I can't remember if I got 6, we're just going to go with 4. So I could do the 110s for at least 4 reps. I'm not going to be able to give you guys any 1 rep maxes with the exception of my bench. So I never ever 1 rep max. The last time I 1 rep maxed was on bench press. I will never do it again. It is a total waste of fucking time. It is a injury waiting to fucking happen. So I have made a commitment to myself that no matter how many PRs I set, I will never attempt a 1 rep max ever again. So there's only going to be 1 of those in this list. In fact, let me confirm. Maybe I could give it to you now. Yeah. So my max flat bench on Smith machine is 305, and that was for 1. So so that's where it's at. So currently I go up to about 275 on flat bench Smith press, and I can get that for anywhere between 4 and 6 depending on how I feel that day. I'm working on trying to push that number up slowly, but it is absolutely not a priority of mine. So I pyramid up. I'll start with a warm-up set that's really light, like 135, get 12 reps. Go up to like 165, get 12 reps. Go up to 225, get 10 or 8 reps. Go to 255 for 10 to 8 reps. And then go to 275 for as many reps as I can get. So I just rep to failure at 275. and that's usually going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 to 6 reps, just depending on how I'm feeling that day. So that's going to be a 5th set total. I have no idea if I could eclipse that 305. I'm not going to know because I'm not going to try. So as I told you, 110s on the dumbbell press is as big as I've ever gotten. On squats, Jay says he used to squat 500 for 10 reps like it was nothing. He says heavy squats always made my lower back tighter than any other exercise. He says at 19, I remember squatting close to 700 pounds for a couple of reps. I have not fucking free weight squatted in, I'm gonna guess, 3 fucking years. I will probably never do another squat for the rest of my life. It is of all of the possible things that I could do in a fucking bodybuilding gym, squatting is at the dead fucking last of all of the things I could care about. If there was a machine that I could fucking swing my dick from, I would do that before I would do squats. I fucking hate squats. I have no interest in squats. I'm not a competitive bodybuilder. I don't give a shit about growing tree trunk legs. I think it's the dumbest fucking exercise in the world. I don't understand. Like, if I was gonna squat at all, it would only be in a Smith press, and I fucking hate squatting. I would much rather do leg press any day of the week and then fill in with a bunch of other machines to hit all the various parts of my legs. Again, I just take zero pride in legs at all. I just totally could not fucking care less. So I have no idea what I can squat. I don't even care. Front squats, I've never even attempted one. Not even one time. I will go the rest of my life and I will never, ever do a single front squat ever. Leg press. Jay says, oh, I guess I should have given you his weight. Front squats, Jay was able to do 455 for 6 to 8 reps. And then I told you he got 700 pounds on squats for a couple of reps. Moving on to leg press, he says he doesn't know exactly what the max weight was because he just filled whatever the leg press was, he just filled it with plates on both sides. So he's guessing 1,200 to 1,300 pounds, but he doesn't do that anymore. He said he later in his career he switched to never going over 1,000 pounds, and he would knock out good sets of 20 to 30 reps. Wow, I had no idea that was a functional rep range. The highest I've ever really gone on, I've done 20 reps before. Generally, I would never go above 15. I'm considering giving this a try. In fact, I did legs last night for the first time in a year, and I loaded up the squat rack. I loaded up the squat rack. I loaded up the leg press. I started with 1 plate on each side and the sled. So that's 167 times 90, whatever that math is, 257. And I intended to do it for like 20 to 30 reps. I just couldn't even make my body do it. I got to 15 and I was like, what am I doing? I just fucking racked it. Not to mention the fact that it's kind of embarrassing, you know, like you got 1 plate on each side and I'm just like waiting for my wife to well, she wasn't there, thank God. But I'm just waiting for some girl to be like, oh my God, look at this fucking guy. He's got 1 plate on each side. So eventually last night, after not doing legs for a year, I got up to 5 plates a side plus the sled. The sled's 167. 10 plates is 450. So 550, 617. Thank you. This is a part last night where I completely fell apart on the camera. I could not do the math to save my life and just started giggling like a schoolgirl. So I might cut to that now. So after a year of not lifting legs, I was able to do 617 pounds on the leg press for 8. The problem with leg press is not my quads or my leg strength. So the second I unracked the 617, the second I pushed up, both of my knees started knocking like this. Just so immediately I lower the weight, get it down to 90, which I can get to 90 degrees, no problem with 617 pounds. Baby, in fact, I found a way to tell if you're getting to 90 or not. Remind me to tell you that later. And so I could only go, like I could bring it all the way down to, really sub 90 degrees. But when I would start to press and get toward full extension, my knees just start knocking like fucking crazy. So I don't know what causes that. I don't know if anybody else has experienced this. I know that it's happened to me in the past, and maybe it just seems to be a joint strength thing, or I don't know what it is. It eventually will, you know, for any given amount of weight, I'll eventually work up enough strength that it goes away. And then it will always be the limiting factor. Whenever I put basically too much weight on the press, that's the first thing that happens is my knee. I just lose control of my knees, and it fucking freaks me out because I'm just afraid one of them's gonna blow up or snap the. I don't know what causes it. It doesn't hurt, but it it looks like I'm having an earthquake. It's just like they just vibrate back and forth. So the max that I have ever done in my life on leg press is 980 pounds. So I didn't do it for fucking 12 to 30 reps like Cutler over here. I was trying actually to get to 1,000. I went to the gym that day to get to 1,000, to try to get to 1,000 pounds. And I could tell right out the gate that I was not feeling incredibly strong. I believe this occurred on my first decacycle. I think. I actually have video of this. I might be able to dig up out of the cloud somewhere because I sent it to a buddy at work. He was always he was a power lifter. And so we were always kind of competing. I was trying to bodybuild and he was powerlifting, and he would always be suspect of my lifts. And so I would send him videos of me doing something to confirm that I could count the reps, because he was like fucking range of motion police at the office. And so like I would record anything that was like, you know, a big set for me and send it to him, and then let him be the fucking judge and jury on whether or not I could fucking count all the reps. And so I got 980 again for like 4 reps. It was not 1 and it was not 6, somewhere in the middle there. So 980 is my max on leg press. Hack squats. I've only ever done hack squats on a machine. I don't give 2 shits about hack squats. I only did it just to fucking max out my legs. I have absolutely no idea. Maybe 3 plates aside plus the sled. I have no idea. I'm definitely not strong on hack squats. Deadlifts. I fucking absolutely do not ever deadlift. Jay actually says he did 8 plates aside, for 10 reps on hack squats. Jay on deadlifts says, I've done 6 plates aside for 585 off the floor for 3 reps. I did it back in 2005 at Gold's Gym. Then later on, he says he did rack deadlifts, and the most he ever used was 7 plates aside for 675 pounds for a few reps, somewhere between 3 and 6. I have attempted deadlifts a handful of times in my life. I have something wrong with my back. I'm prone to massive lower back pumps or cramps. I don't know what they are, but they will end a fucking workout. It's one of the things I've been struggling with in the past few weeks since starting on MK677 again. Within a few days of starting MK, I started getting massively horrific back pumps in the gym that were fucking up my workouts. I have since started pounding electrolytes, and they have all but gone away. I don't know why the MK caused that. I don't think I had changed anything in my diet as far as electrolytes, but I know that putting electrolytes back into the mix caused the back pumps to more or less go away. Every single time in my life I have ever attempted to do deadlifts, my lower back gets into a fucking knot that will not go away, and it absolutely ruins the entire rest of my workout. I have tried everything I know to fix this. I've tried limiting range of motion. I have tried literally doing deadlifts with like embarrassingly lightweight. Like 60 pounds on like a curl bar. I've tried deadlifting like a 60-pound curl bar for reps to try to like warm it up or something. And like I can usually get away with some kind of minuscule amount of weight. But the second I get anywhere to anything that's even remotely respectable, my back knots up and it will stay knotted up. And so I do absolutely 0 deadlifts. I honestly don't give a shit about lower back a lot. I don't compete. I don't need every single one of my muscles to be as perfect as the rest of my body already is. I feel like having, 95% perfect physique is is good enough. You know, if my lower back is my one lagging part, like fuck it, I'll live with it. I would rather do back extensions than deadlifts, but honestly, I rarely even do those. I do next to zero free weight compound movements. I don't even understand them in the context of bodybuilding. Maybe if I was natty, it would make sense. I know that free weight compound movements activate the most testosterone, the most growth hormone, all that shit. I don't need my training regimen to activate my growth hormone or my androgens. I do that exogenously. So my attitude toward bodybuilding is that I want to go in there and take as many limiting factors out of the equation as possible, which takes us to the next exercise on the list, which is dumbbell rows. I don't ever do dumbbell rows anymore. If I want to focus my back, I want to focus my back. If you're doing a dumbbell row, you're activating your quads. And so you have a limited amount of effectively energy that you can use in any given lift. You know, is it glycogen that I think that's the word, that your body pushes into your muscle cells. And when you deplete that, the glycogen, you have a limited amount of glycogen in your muscle tissue that allows you to do work, and then lactic acid starts to become the byproduct. And so if I'm trying to focus back and I'm doing heavy barbell rows, then I'm in a situation where I'm using my muscular strength in my lower back, in my fucking legs, quads. And so I'm not being able to put all of the energy that I have available for that particular lift into my back alone. And so I just don't see the value in it. It just seems like another way to get hurt. It's a pain in the ass setting up. I would much rather just sit down at a row machine, put a pin in it, and fucking go. And just absolutely make sure that I get the maximum focus on my back muscles as possible. And it seems to be working for me because I think I have a pretty great back. So I have no idea what I can do barbell rows for. Jay Cutler says that he says, I can't bring myself to be sloppy on this exercise with super heavy weight. It's just not worth the risk. Like I'm saying, you know, you can only go light because it's not worth being sloppy. He said, I've done 405 for 8 to 10 reps, and I can do 365 for 10 at any back workout. I would be fucking guessing. I think I've done 225 for some reps, but I have no idea. I don't give a shit. Like I said, I don't track it anymore. I have no idea. Dumbbell rows, same thing. Jay says he's rowed 200 pounders for 10 reps. He used to use the 180s all the time. Back in the day when I was going to the gym early on in my lifting career, I had like a fucking gym bag that I had all kinds of shit in. So I had like the weight belt and some straps and some metal hooks and all of these different apparatuses to help me try to be as strong as possible. One of the reasons I hated doing dumbbell rows is because my grip would always be a limiting factor. Plus, you've got to go get this 80 to 100 plus dumbbell, get it off the rack, get it onto the floor. It's like I'm fucking half cashed by the time I even get ready to do the fucking lift. Whereas I could just sit down at a plate loaded row machine and just row and not have to deal with any of that bullshit. So used to, when I was fucking growing my back, I would always use straps or hooks or something to take because my grip would be the limiting factor. My back was substantially stronger than my grip. I don't carry that shit around anymore. Honestly, I can't remember the last time my grip was a limiting factor. So I don't know if that's because eventually my forearms caught up to the rest of my body or what, but I don't use straps or hooks or anything, and I don't ever do dumbbell rows. At Planet, they only go up to, I think, 75 pounds, maybe 80 pounds, which is not enough for me to get, that's not enough weight for me. So I don't recall how heavy I've gone on dumbbell rows. It's been too long to know. Lat pull downs. This is one of the last machines that I actually tried to go crazy heavy and use straps and all that to get the max that I could. Jay says the stack on most lat pull down stations goes to 300 pounds. I can do sets with that for good reps anytime whether with an overhand or underhand grip. So just so you know, when I do lat pull downs, I only do wide grip, like extremely wide grip pull downs. I have other moves that I do for something other than maximum width. The max that I ever did on wide grip pull downs was 235 pounds for 6 reps. I think I might have got 7 actually one time. That was with straps, and that was at a body weight of 187-ish pounds. So I don't even try to go that heavy anymore. When I'm doing back, again, I'm not trying to focus on maximum weight. I'm trying to focus on maximum contraction and maximum, you know, I'm really, like when I do back, I'm really focused on form and control and squeeze at the bottom and extension at the top. So usually the max I go up to now is my body weight, give or take. So 200, 210 pounds. I can do that for 6 reps, maybe 8. But again, that's at the end of multiple sets where I have been primarily focusing on getting good squeeze and time under tension. I'm not one of these guys that you see in there like swinging and rocking. Jay used to do a lot of bullshit when he would do lat pull downs that I kind of disagreed with. Like he would kind of pull back like this. He would kind of lean back and then pull down. And it seemed to me that he was almost turning like pull downs into rows. And so that was one of my least favorite things that I saw Jay doing. When I do wide grip pull downs, I stay not straight up, like I come back a slight amount, but I'm sitting more or less up. I don't do the lean back and pull the bar down to my chest. I think to get the maximum width, you want to be relatively vertical. And so 235 with straps at a body weight of about 187 is my max. Cable rows, Jay says that he was able to do the stack at 300, that most of the stacks go up to 300. I'm sorry, he says you don't see stacks heavier than 300 too often, but in Vegas there's a gym where the cable row goes up to 400, and I can do that for a decent set of 8 to 10 with a little heave behind it. I've been as high as 240 on the row. I think that was my max. That might have even been a 1 or 2 rep max back at Legends. Rarely now do I go over 200 pounds. And again, I try to focus on not having to do a bunch of heaving, moving around. I try to focus on a weight that I can get full extension in the front, and then I can pull to my chest and hold. So like I want to get full extension in the front, pull and squeeze my lats and my rhomboids and traps and everything in the back, and kind of hold for a second and let go. I have a lot of back problems. The most likely part of my body to get injured is my back. Lower back and rhomboids will fuck my whole week up. And so I'm very careful when I'm doing anything back oriented. I do not ego lift on back at all, period, anymore, because I have cost myself countless weeks in the gym, horsing the fuck around, trying to set PRs on back. I just don't give a shit anymore. I'm too old for this. I'm trying to do this as long as possible, and I'm trying to avoid injury. So I do not ego lift on back at all. I find a good heavy weight that forces me to work hard, but that I can still control and get good contractions with. So moving on to shrugs, I do a Smith machine, primarily only now. I used to do free weight shrugs with barbell when I was at Legends Fit. Jay says with the barbell, he can go as high as 600 pounds on dumbbells. He can do a few reps with 200s. Shrugs, it was another exercise that for a long time I ego lifted heavily on. I wanted to have big, massive fucking traps. That's always been a goal of mine. I'm really happy with my trap development now. The max I ever did on free weight barbell shrugs was 405 for 4. This is another lift that I videotaped for my buddy. I may be able to dig that up on that 4th rep of 405, because he was saying that he was suspect of my ability to pull that much, and that he thought my range of motion wasn't good. And so on that video I had my wife shoot, I pulled 405, and on the last rep I held it at the top as long as I could until my muscles failed. So I was doing all the way squeeze to the top at 405, and then I held the last set for, you know, a few seconds, however long I could. I do not go that high anymore because that ended up being one of the #1 things that was causing my rhomboid problems. Was something to do with going too heavy. I don't know whether I don't know if I was tweaking my back in a certain way, obviously possibly trying to lift too much weight and horsing the weight, but I have jerked a knot in my rhomboid on more than one occasion, and so now I never go over 3 plates a side, and I just try to focus on getting as many reps with good contraction, and when I do shrugs, again, on my last set, I always hold the squeeze at the top for as long as I can, and then let them come down. So 405 would be my max on shrugs. I'm going to eat dinner and then I'll finish this video up. Alright, next up in what seems to be like a fucking marathon video or article, we've got overhead barbell press. Jay Cutler said he was able to do, back in the day, 90s, somehow everybody went up to 405 on it. Obviously that meant there were spotters. I went up to 315 on standing presses. That's one, I don't know. Overhead barbell press. Apparently he went 315 on standing. I've never done standing barbell presses. I can't remember the last time I did. I'm guessing that he's talking about shoulder press. No, behind the neck barbell presses were a very popular lift. I don't fucking do that. I do shoulder press. I don't know if that's coming up here or not. I don't do behind the neck barbell presses of any kind. Next on the list is seated dumbbell presses. Again, I can't remember the last time I did a seated dumbbell press. Jay says I've done 160s for 8 to 10 reps, but I don't feel I need to go quite that heavy anymore. I still go up to the 140s. Here's my thing on dumbbells. Again, maybe I'm just a lazy fuck in the gym. Dumbbells are a pain in the ass to use. If I'm gonna do dumbbell presses, I have to be able to get these big massive dumbbells that my shoulders are able to press up onto my knees and then kick them up and rotate my elbows and get these things up into some kind of pressing movement, and then be able to come down and throw them, which of course you can't do at fucking Planet Fitness, or risk injury trying to maneuver this weight down to the ground. So I just don't understand why anyone does these moves. Like, we have machines that take all of this extra bullshit out of the equation. I would much rather just go to the Smith machine and do barbell Smith presses on the Smith machine, or a shoulder press machine, like a plate loaded shoulder press machine. All the muscles don't give a fuck. Like you could make some arguments that when you're doing free weights, you incorporate all of these other balancing muscles and shit, and maybe that's valuable for an athlete or for somebody who's a power lifter or whatever. I don't lift for any kind of performance enhancement at all as far as physical performance. I purely lift to look big as fuck. That's it. I don't give a shit if I have the best balancing technique. I'm not a firefighter. I'm not carrying anybody out of a fucking burning building. I don't need to be able to deadlift a lot of weight. If a tree falls on you and I happen to be in the general area, I'm not fucking helping you. Like, if a building's on fire, call the fire department. Like, I'm not a fucking hero. I don't give a shit about other people's fucking problems. The last thing I'm doing is going to try to save some fucking stranger. Like, I did that dumbass shit for the last fucking time in my life when I was in New Mexico. I made an entire video that no one watched about how I almost fucking died on the side of a fucking mountain in the middle of the night and left my wife and kids alone in this world trying to save 3 dumb fuck ass hikers that got lost on a trail. I will fucking never try to save somebody else's fucking life again if there is any risk to me, to my personal safety at all. And that's the crazy shit that I think is so fucking funny. There'll be all these people in my comments like, hey bro, you know, like all this fucking gear you're taking is gonna fucking leave your wife and kids alone and you're not gonna be able to take care of your family. That same dumb motherfucker will run into a fire to try to save somebody else's fucking kid and then die and leave his family behind. Like, how does that, what kind of logic is this? I am fucking far from a hero. The only hero I'm gonna be is in the protection of my family. I would absolutely lay down my life to protect my family. If my family is standing on the side of the road and somebody else's family is in trouble, they better find somebody else to fucking help them because it ain't gonna be me. Barbell curls. I have done barbell curls. Let's see. Jay Cutler says, as big as my biceps are, they have never been very strong, relatively speaking. I tried 225 once and I think I got 2 reps. After that, I said, why am I even attempting this? What's the point? I mean, there's the fucking quote of the entire video right there. Why am I even attempting this? What's the point? So for every one of you guys who's gonna get in the fucking comments, well, I can't believe you only benched 305, or I can't believe you only, why? Why can't you believe it? Why? Dude, have you looked at my body recently? I look like I'm carved out of fucking marble. I have a better physique than 99.9999% of people who have ever walked the face of this fucking earth. Ever! Ever, ever, ever! You are probably never in life going to see somebody with a better body than me outside of a fucking gym. I have traveled all over this fucking country. I've been to every beach in Florida, it seems like. I've been hiking the mountains. I've been 22 fucking states. I maybe have seen 2 fucking people who are even remotely close to my physique anywhere else in the entire country I've traveled to. I'm not saying I have the greatest body in the world. I'm just saying that they're very small numbers. If I go to fucking Legends Fit right now, there are plenty of people with better physiques than me there. But the general population, just like walking around the general world, it fucking next to never happens. There's not been one single time on the countless number of hours I've spent on a fucking beach where I envied anybody's body that I saw. So walking down Ocean Boulevard, I was fucking turning heads. I mean, I was shocked when I went to Miami. I thought like going to Miami, it was gonna be nothing but just like amazing beach bodies. I was so fucking disappointed when I got to Miami. Everybody there was fat and disgusting. I couldn't fucking believe it. I thought Miami was like the mecca of beautiful fucking people. Biggest fucking disappointment in my life. The people I saw there. We were there like 4 fucking days. We walked the strip every single fucking night. We were on the beach every single day. I saw one fucking guy that was like an actual bodybuilder. One! The whole fucking time we were there. That's it. One fucking bodybuilder is all I saw in 4 fucking consecutive days in Miami. And that's counting going to Naples, fucking, we went, how many fucking cities we went to in beaches. We went to the Keys, every one of the Keys, beaches in the Keys, Sarasota, Naples, Fort Walton Beach, Destin Beach, fucking all over Florida. Never saw a fucking better body one bodybuilder. So, like, that's the whole thing. Why am I even attempting to lift all of this weight when it's absolutely unnecessary for building a world-class physique? So all of you fucking assholes in the comments who want to brag about how much weight you lift, I bet you like a fucking $1 million you're a fat fuck. That's the thing. All the power lifters, they look like total shit. I would never trade my body with Eddie Hall for all of the money in the fucking world. Eddie Hall is a fucking monster. If I woke up tomorrow in Eddie Hall's body, I would absolutely jump out of a fucking window. He is a disgusting, ugly fucking guy to look at. I cannot imagine looking like that. So I don't give two shits about strength at all. Finally, dumbbell curls. That was the whole point of this entire video. Jay says, oh, I forgot. I guess I should have answered. I can barbell curl. What did I get up to? 140, I think, was my barbell curl. I feel like I already said this. Maybe this was I'm confusing this with the video that I shot last night, massively under the influence of sleeping pills. My max barbell curl is 140 pounds for, again, probably not 6 reps, it's probably 4 reps. We're gonna call it 4 reps. Dumbbell curls. Jay says, I have curled a pair of 80s, but that was a little too sloppy even for my tastes. Most of the time, I would rather stick with 60s and maybe 70s if I'm feeling extra strong one day. So Jay Cutler, 4-time Mr. Olympia, goes up to 70-pound dumbbells if he's feeling extra strong that day. And I've got bitch-ass motherfuckers in my comment section that are talking shit about my 60-pound dumbbell curls. You know what? Fuck every one of you guys. There is absolutely nothing wrong with my form on those 60-pound dumbbell curls. Another thing that half of you fucktards that don't ever leave your mom's basement don't seem to understand is that a 60-pound dumbbell is really big. It's a big fucking dumbbell. A 70-pound dumbbell is really big. It's really easy to have perfect form on a 30-pound dumbbell that's not smashing you in the fucking leg. When you're trying to lift 70-pound dumbbells, you can't just hold those right next to your body. They stick out like that. So in order to lift a 70-pound dumbbell, you have to do some bending and some moving to even get the dumbbell into a position where you could start to curl it because it's so fucking big. The size of the dumbbell itself limits how good your form could possibly fucking be. So all of you assholes who like maybe can do 20-pound dumbbells for 8 fucking reps, and you're like, look at me, I have perfect form. Yeah, I can too with 20-pound fucking dumbbells. I can lift 20-pound dumbbells with my fucking dick. When I'm lifting 60 and 70 fucking pound dumbbells in the gym, that takes some fucking, you're gonna have to sacrifice some form to be able to even get those in a position to lift. So you're gonna have to bend your torso. You're gonna have to move your shoulders to get the thing around your fucking leg to even get it up. So here you have it. 4-time Mr. Olympia, 60 to 70 pound dumbbells if he's feeling extra strong that day. Skull crushers. I have gone to 120, 30, 40. I don't even know. I don't fucking do skull crushers anymore. Most of these lifts I can't do because I don't lift at a fucking real gym anymore. You know, when I used to go to fucking Legends and they had fucking easy bars and plates, I would definitely do skull crushers. Now I do close grip bench press and a bunch of machines. And the funny thing is, I get a lot of people who are like, come on, bro, why do you lift at Planet Fitness, bro? Why don't you go to a real gym, bro? Why? Why go to a real gym? All of you guys who are so convinced that I need to do skull crushers instead of a fucking tricep machine, why are you convinced of that? I'm growing. I just hit 213 pounds with 6-pack fucking abs. I keep putting on inches on my shoulders and my biceps. I keep getting bigger at Planet Fitness. So why would I go from spending $20 a month that covers me, my wife, and my son, and I can work out 24 hours a day, to go back to spending $50 a month per person and having to drive half an hour, 45 minutes one way to get to the gym and come back to get the same amount of progress? I gained almost no weight at Legends Fit. Now, that's not the fault of the gym. It's the fault of the fact that I didn't have MK677 to stimulate my appetite enough to actually fucking grow. The truth of the matter is your muscles don't give two fucks what you lift. They don't care if it's skull crushers or a machine. They don't care if it's fucking dumbbell presses or a machine. As long as you stress the muscle, as long as you put the muscle under tension, that is all that fucking matters. You can build a world-class physique at Planet Fitness for $20 a fucking month with the black card and be able to work out all over the fucking country. You can build just as good of a body. There admittedly are some cases where I'm getting into trouble with my strength, where the machines don't carry enough weight. But what we're finding out is that the same thing happened to fucking Jay Cutler. How many times in this list have we seen where he said he was basically limited by the stack at the gym he went to? So he had to do 20 or 30 reps to get anything out of it. He can't even leg press as much as he wants to press because there's not enough room on the fucking machine. So he loads it up and does 20 to 30 fucking reps. So I could go to a different gym and just as easily outgrow that gym if I got freakishly fucking strong. Overhead dumbbell extensions, don't do them. Jay Cutler can do with both hands. I've used a 160, so that's like fucking dumbbell extension like that. He's done up to 160. Without a doubt, I've gone heavier than a 65 for one arm overhead extension. Weighted dips, he's done a 100-pound dumbbell. I think the most I've ever done on weighted dips, I used to have a belt with the chain and all that fucking bullshit. I don't waste time carrying that around anymore. I think the most I ever did on weighted dips was a 35-pound plate. So I was probably 180 plus a 30-pound plate. He says he's done a 100-pound dumbbell. Close grip bench press. I have done 405 for sets of 8 to 10 in the past, but this is an exercise I kicked to the curb after I finally realized it was not a safe movement for me. So however much you use on your close grips, it's more than a 4-time Mr. Olympia. I wonder why he felt like close grip bench press was unsafe. I don't really feel unsafe on a close grip press. There is, it does strain my bicep a little bit if I get too low. I feel pretty good on close grip press, and I can go up to 275 for 6. So nowhere near Jay's 405, but again, I weigh 100 pounds less. So 275 is my close grip bench press, and thank God that's it. So the whole fucking thing that motivated this marathon fucking video was just the fact that I had assholes telling me that 60-pound dumbbells were not heavy enough, that I was weak at 60-pound dumbbells for somebody that weighs 210. Now, 213.2, bitches. So, I never even should have responded to the fucking comment. Like I said, I should have fucking ignored it out of hand. But it did make for some interesting reading, because now I don't ever have to fucking be insecure about these numbers again. I don't ever have to wonder where my strength is relative to somebody who was at the absolute, who's the best in the business, honestly. One of the absolute best in the business ever. I know that he doesn't have the same number of titles as Ronnie, but he's not in a fucking wheelchair. So I would take 4-time Mr. Olympia, who's still competing, or who could compete at the age of 50, compared to, what was it, 8-time Ronnie Coleman, who is fucking nearly an invalid. So to me, Jay is just the cream of the fucking crop. He had the best looking body, in my opinion, ever. He was the most complete package, at least of the white guys. You know, Jay was probably the best looking white guy who ever competed in open. I used to be a huge fan of a guy who did not win a lot of fucking shows, and now I'm not gonna be able to remember his name. Fuck. Victor Martinez. I thought Victor Martinez had one of the fucking greatest physiques ever. I don't know why he didn't win more. Obviously, Phil Heath had a phenomenal physique. I was a big fan of Dexter Jackson. As much as it pained me to see Cutler lose that Olympia, if he had to lose it to anybody, I'm so fucking thankful that Dexter got his O. This guy had to have been the most prolific competitor ever. He competed. I think he started competing like back when Jesus was still preaching. Like, the guy was around forever. Dexter always brought a phenomenal package. Seemed like a great fucking guy. I loved all those guys from that era. That's when I got super excited about bodybuilding. And to be able to see Jay win 4 and then still continue to be a big name in the sport was really exciting for me. Obviously, I made a video titled, I think, Jay Cutler Broke My Heart. You know, it's tragic when you see these guys fucking lie and go, oh yeah, I was 4-time Mr. Olympia and I took 400 milligrams of test and 400 milligrams of EQ. It's like, You know what? Blow it out of your ass, fucking Jay. No, you didn't. And then, of course, he'd drop in, well, you know, there was some D-balls, man, draw, and there was like fucking 2,000 units of GH and all that bullshit. You never get any truth out of these guys. But you know what? If I was in his shoes, maybe I'd bullshit too. You know, I have nothing to lose. He's got everything to lose. So why would he say anything? And the experiences that I've had recently on like fucking Discord and just in general, like the longer this channel goes on, the more I like have to eat a lot of shit. The more I start going, oh, no wonder nobody talks about this. It doesn't do any good to talk about it. None of you fucking people listen or learn. I can sit here and expose myself in glorious fashion and do all of this research and all of this fucking guinea pigging and all of this fucking, you know, put all this content out there at great risk to my personal freedom, and then somebody will just turn around and parrot the bro science that some bigger name said anyway. So it's like, why even bother? Most of you people are totally beyond help, and I'm sure that's what the vast majority of these guys figure out. It's like, why would I tell anybody anything? Most people in this fucking community absolutely deserve zero fucking help or respect. So there you have it. That's what four-time Mr. Olympia Jay Cutler can lift. That's what I can lift. What can you lift? All of you shit talkers in the comments, get a fucking profile picture, make a YouTube channel, record a video, and until you do, go fuck yourself. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.